Peppertainment TV, little pepper pants coming at you. Gonna talk about my raised planter bed project for some of my peppers. Say that a few times fast, good tongue twister. Anyhow, behind me is the completed project of my raised planter bed. So let me just go ahead and lower the iron curtain to let you see the project. As you can see, it's got a sunshade roof on it, side shades, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not gonna do a how-to video. That gets boring. Nobody wants to see me screwing things in, cutting wood, perhaps cursing when I get frustrated, any of that. So I'm just gonna do a walkthrough video of some of the key steps. That way you can see what I did and perhaps do one of your own.
It's always a good idea to sketch out kind of a mental plan of what you're gonna do. So I've done that here. The roof is a little short here. You can see the box is gonna be here, posts, and a little mesh. I think I'm gonna go a little higher, and there I can really envision myself standing outside of the planter box. Key to any design project.
So I'm getting ready to coat the wood in my homemade neem oil. As you can see, I've set the boards up on my sort of makeshift sawhorse, workhorse kind of things with benches. But I position the wood basically where the planter is going to go, so I don't have to move it too much once it's dry. But I am going to apply this neem oil onto the wood, let it soak in. Here's my fancy bucket sitting in my uncle's invention called the High Helper, which is a collapsible work box. Super handy for any kind of project. Anyhow, I'm just going to apply this neem oil on here. The nice thing about the neem is that it doesn't hurt any of the beneficial critters and bugs and bacteria and all of that, but it will prevent ants, it will prevent termites, so it will give a little bit of coating to the wood that helps keep the critters away. Not to mention the oil will help a little bit of weather resistance. I'm using laurel wood, which is a nice hardy wood. It's second to teak, so this is going to be the base. I'm going to cover this at least in one coat. I'll see how it all soaks in. I may do a second coat, and then I'll do the rest of it and get it assembled. Alright, so here's the wood all oiled up. I've already cut it to size. I'm doing 3.45 meters for the long sides and 1.75 for the short sides. The reason for that is that my shortest piece was 3.47, so I cut them all to 3.45. I also have cut little ties out of 2x2 that have been oiled that will be tying the three boards together on all of the four sides. I finished up the two lengthwise or long panels, the assembly of those boards. I did 3 boards tall, making it 12 inches off the ground, and they're stacked on. Now the way that I attach them to each other is I use these pieces of 2x2 that I cut to actually 30 centimeters, which is just over 12 inches. Now my plan is to have them spaced out so there's 4 sections. There'll be 1, 2. Now I'm missing a 2x2 in the middle here because I'm going to use that as a roof mesh long post, so I have not installed that yet. 3, and then the 4th panel down there. So what I'll do is I'll get all the panels assembled, I'll put the corner pieces in, and then I'll add those roof pieces in shortly. Today's progress. The lower handrails are all around. The sunshade is mounted up high, nice and tight, or taut, thanks to the help of my lovely wife, Caitlin. 4 hands are better than 2. So these handrails here, I call them, that's where the lower sunshade screen mesh was going to mount. That'll keep the iguanas out, keep the dog out, so on and so forth. But to get in, we've got this trusty gate. See the latch? Undo this homemade latch I did, and then the gate opens. It's supposed to be self-closing hinges, which it's not, but look at how nice and slick that closes right in there. The actual build / construction of this raised bed is now complete. You can see I've hung the side screens. Now these serve a couple of purposes. One, it will keep the dogs out who tend to like peppers, just like their father, but they don't take very good care of them like I do. 2, keeps lizards like iguanas, toads out. It will keep some critters out as a whole. It also will reduce the damage that the wind does. There's a lot of high winds this time of year, so some of those gusts really batter the plants. In addition to that, the wind will cross-pollinate with some of my other peppers. So this screen screen will help to keep the pollen inside to some degree. It's not going to be 100% effective, but it will help reduce that a little bit. The most important thing is the temperature reduction. So the side screens, in addition to the top sunshade, will really reduce the temperature in here. Now peppers, they do like full sun, but they don't like hot heat. Anything over about 95 to 96 degrees, depending on the pepper, will not produce flowers or will drop their flowers. And because they do that, they don't produce peppers, being the flowers are the peppers. So that temperature decrease is really key to maintaining production all year long. Now inside here, you can see I've done a little bit of dirt. I've got about 8 bags of dirt. They're 40-kilo bags. So it's quite a bit of dirt that I still need, obviously. But I wanted to show what I'm doing as far as a bedding underneath the dirt. I've just raked the lawn. It looks like a nativity scene, but I assure you it's not. The only thing heavenly in these parts are little pepper pants sauces. Basically, it's just yard debris. I throw it underneath there. It's going to serve a couple of purposes. One, it's going to aerate the soil. Two, it's going to provide nutrients as it decomposes. But three, it also reduces the amount of dirt that I need, so it actually is a cost-saving benefit as well. So I'll go ahead and throw some dirt on top of that. We'll get it all up to the level, get some plants in there, and start producing some peppers. Complete for the day. So you can see the door shut. Come over here, show you some of these reapers that are planted in here. Look really nice. Get you the whole structure here. Whole thing turned out really great. So the last thing I want to do is a temperature test here. So we'll see what the difference of the plant out here is. 95.2. And then we'll come in here. 87.1. So we're at like 8 degrees difference from the and we're in the shade. So what a big difference that makes just in the shade. So in the sun, it's going to be a huge difference, and that puts us well below that 95 to 96 degree threshold to produce flowers, which means peppers. So it should be in good shape. So hopefully I've inspired you guys to build one of your own. Love to see pictures if you do, and thanks for watching.